Hello, namaskar, and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good, my dear friends. Today I have got a very important, or you can say important in terms of your syllabus, important in terms of your capacity building, a topic called greenwashing. Now, what this greenwashing is all about, of course, we are going to find out by the end of this discussion. But before that, I would like to take you through some realities through which we are going at present. We have Make in India, right? Under this Make in India flagship program, what we are trying to achieve is we are trying to attract investments from various different countries and companies. We want our country to become a manufacturing hub for the world, and with this we have to be very careful. We have to keep a fine balance when it comes to our development and when it comes to our environment. Without environment, there cannot be any development at all. And if we are not in tune with environment, then whatever money we are creating is going to be of no use when we don't have access to clean drinking water, when we don't have access to fresh air, clean air, So all these things are very important, and this is something that we all are aware about as well. If we go through United Nations General Assembly, then we find from last many years, two topics have been consistent, right? One is climate change and the other one is terrorism. So in this context as well, greenwashing is a very important topic in terms of your environment and in terms of economy. It's a topic that is touching this wide spectrum. Now, greenwashing is a term that was, first time that when it came in use was in 1960s, but later on in 1990s, when the whole world, generally speaking, around the world, in different parts of the world, we saw this revolutions and movements taking place. People were shouting and calling for environment protection. So basically environmental awareness kicked in around the world in 1990s, and if we observe the early campaigns at that point of time, then we find that greenwashing was a terminology that was used at that time as well. In today's world, as we all know, we are surrounded by thousands, or you can say millions and millions of products and services. Every company is trying to sell something to us, right? They want us to buy something, and to do this thing, they many a times they cross this limit, and they start taking, their marketing campaigns or their advertisements are more sort of or pretend advertisement or pretend good, or they pretend to be environment friendly, but in reality is all about more barking and no biting. Now we have a couple of examples here. The first example is of Royal Dutch Shell. Shell is a company. We have petrol stations in our country, right? Shell petrol pumps, and back in history, what they did is they started this campaign called "Don't throw anything away, there is no way." So if you observe this advertisement picture here, their poster, what they're trying to project is this carbon that is coming out of these factories or these chimneys, right? It's not all bad. What they were trying to convince us, or they're trying to tell us, that this carbon is important for flora, and flora, based on flora, is our fauna, and so is our ecosystem. So they were trying to mislead us by saying that this carbon is all not bad, because that was their greenwashing campaign. So I hope you have got an idea of what greenwashing is all about. It's more about pretending, or you can also say that it's all about packaging your lie in such a way that it looks that it's a truth that you are catering us. It's a matter of shame as well. Many times we find that many courts, like we have this example here, again the same company, Dutch Shell. It's a subsidiary that was working in Nigeria, and before 2017, there was a big oil spill in this Niger Delta that destroyed the livelihood of the communities that were living in this Niger Delta. Fish, agriculture, their environment, everything was shattered because of this oil spill. And of course, this people are going to claim, isn't it? They are going to claim compensation. But it's a matter of shame that a High Court of United Kingdom rejected or ruled out a claim against this Dutch Shell Nigerian subsidiary. So many times it looks like law is indeed blind. We have a case of General Motors as well. They started this gas-friendly to gas-free campaign, and what they were trying to project in this a gas friendly to gas free campaign. They were trying to tell us this story, this false story that they are going to get rid of these big cars and they are going to produce more eco-friendly and fuel-efficient cars, and they are trying to, project. They were under this campaign. They were telling us that now you can use this E85 ethanol fuel blend as well in our cars, and we are going to develop hybrid cars and plug-in hybrids and fuel cells and so many things that will make our world a bit more green and a bit more eco-friendly. So why they are doing these things? Because as I told you, right, to grab our attention, and people feel, this is a way of making us feel that if we are driving their cars, then we are more eco-friendly and we are more, we could be eco-friendly, but the reality is that what they are trying to sell us is a blatant lie, right? That's what they are trying to do with these campaigns. Revlon, a very famous medical company, back in 2013, they started this breast cancer awareness campaign, and they started collecting funds for patients around the world for breast cancer. But it was found that many of their cosmetic items used to have this formaldehyde, and formaldehyde is carcinogenic. So carcinogenic is a product or a chemical that has this potential to create or generate cancer in us. It is used for storing these dead animals in laboratories, so that it was in news as well a couple of weeks ago. We have talked about this thing in our PIB too, that this fish or the fishermen, or these people who are not fishermen but people who are trading in fish in parts of our country like South India, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, the fishes or the samples of this fish, they used to have this formaldehyde. So basically they were trying to preserve this or extend the life of this perishable product called fish. So formaldehyde is a carcinogen, and it can create cancer in us, and these products were used in, or this carcinogen was used in many items, or this formaldehyde was used in many items that were catered by this Revlon company. So you can see a paradox here. A company that is campaigning for breast cancer, their products are made up of those items that can boost cancer in human beings. So earlier on they said that this is all false and defamatory things, that are these charges are false and defamatory, but later on it was found that they have reinvented, or the ingredients were changed by this Revlon company. Then we have a case of 2013 Asian Pulp or Asia Pulp and Paper Company, a big giant company that has destroyed forests in Sumatra and Kalimantan of Indonesia. They have destroyed wildlife habitat, they have destroyed water over there, they have destroyed local communities and everything. And now in 2013 they started a campaign, they started this policy called forest conservation policy, and what they're trying to do is they are trying to project, or they tried that they are going to look after this forests and wildlife and everything, but from past 30 years they were the ones who were destroying all these things. So what we are trying to understand here is that we have some big brands and big companies. We have example of Nike as well, talking about they are talking about activism, and they are talking about being new and up to date, and so many things we find in their campaign. But in 1996 a story was published in Life magazine, a magazine of UK called Life, and it was published in this Life magazine that 6 cents an hour, this was the name of this title of this story, where a Pakistani boy was suing this Nike soccer balls, these footballs. These footballs are produced very cheaply in countries like India and Pakistan, Bangladesh and other countries, and they sell these items at a heavy prices, $15, $20 in USA and other developed countries. So these companies are telling something else to us, and they are doing something else. They're not they are barking and not biting. That's what we can say when it comes to environment. So when we are talking about Make in India, when we are talking about economic development of our country, it is very important, particularly when we are inviting these foreign companies, we have to make sure that all the things that they are doing here is environmental friendly, all the products that they are producing in our country. And because, made in India, this will be a thing that we'll find with these companies. And we don't want our country, a country that is having this history of being in tune with environment. It's a matter of shame that from last few years or few decades, these things are not followed, but we have a long culture of being in tune with nature. This is part of our culture, and we don't want to destroy this culture. We don't want to project India as a country that is producing environmentally destructive products, so this is very important for our Make in India as a country as well. It is very important. We have to develop workplace safety procedures. We have to make sure that all the procedures are correctly followed. Worksite analysis, hazard prevention, all these things are going to be very important if we want to stand out in terms of environment protection and sustainable development. So basically, I'm sure now things are clear to you what this greenwashing is all about. Greenwashing is used in advertisement. They try to tell you things that are blatant lie. They are sheer lies, but they present you things in such a way that it looks like what they are saying is right. They will associate happiness with their products. I'm sure you have watched many of these advertisements, where they show you mother and a child. So here the mother is a customer. Customer means a person who is having this purchasing power, a person who is going to buy that product, who is going to spend that money. But the consumer is a person on whom or the product or service will be consumed by this child or the baby in this case, right? So what they're trying to do is they are trying to target this mother, that if you want to give the best care to your child, then you have to buy our product. Without our product, you are not going to get that best thing for your child. And no mother will, every mother will wish that she wants to get the best thing for her baby. So that's what they do. This is just a way of telling that everything is fine and buy our product. And there are so many advertisements. From now on, I believe you will analyze many advertisements on your own, and you will come to know this lies that we find on our television. And 24/7, everywhere we go, we find advertisements are there with us. So greenwashing involves incorrectly conveying to customers that a given product, service, company or institution cares for the environment or for you, but they are in reality they are not doing that thing. And greenwashing is a temporary measure. Of course, these companies are exploiting these things, but if you don't have a society, if you don't have a sustainable, productive society, then you are not going to find any market here. So this is a thing that everyone should be careful about. With this, dear friends, moving on to another item. And before that, I would like to inform you that our pen drive and tablet courses are available. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. Now, Cabinet meeting took place and a very important decision has been taken by Cabinet. It's pertaining to Rabi crops. Rabi is a crop season associated with winter. So minimum support price for all Rabi crops is hiked by government. It includes wheat, pulses and other items, right? You can see the prices here. Wheat is going to be 105 rupee more than on pulses, jor or juar, that's what we call, right? It's going to be 30 rupees, 220 for chana or pulses, and there are other items as well. All these items fall under this Rabi crop. Many times you find MCQs, you have to identify Rabi and Kharif crops. So pay attention to all these items here. Now, Minister of Agriculture has said that MSP fixed by the government is much higher than the cost of production. During this budget as well, government announced that 150% MSP will be given. So basically your production cost is 100. On top you'll get minimum 50 rupees. So 150 rupee is what this government is trying to give to our farmers. And Ravi Shankar Prasad, Union Minister, has also said that this decision is in line with doubling our farmers' income. Good news for the people of Bhopal, good news for the people of Indore. They are going to have metro rail line right in near future. In next 4 years, Bhopal will have this metro train or metro rail. It is going to cost somewhere around 7,000 crore rupees. Same thing goes for Indore as well. So these are two big decisions taken by the Union Cabinet. National Institute of Mental Health Rehabilitation will be opened on this road connecting Bhopal and Sihor. And then we have Sihor, right? That's what the pronunciation is, Sihor. Okay. Then we have IRSDC in news. IRSDC is Indian Railway Stations Development Corporation Limited. And all railway stations, right? What we are trying to achieve is we are trying to upgrade as well as create new railway stations. So we are trying to provide state-of-the-art state-of-art best facilities to our passengers, and this will generate additional revenue, as well as it will increase job creation and improve economic growth as well. With this, dear friends, a very important, I was talking about being environmental friendly, and we have this culture in our country. So here we have something, you can say something that we can associate with, and our Prime Minister, or you can say indirectly, directly, Government of India is awarded with this Champions of the Earth Award, right? United Nations Environment Program has bestowed this award to us, or our Prime Minister, and Prime Minister has dedicated this award. He has said that this award is not for him. This award is basically it goes to 125 crore Indians. He talked about tribal people, he talked about fishermen, he talked about our farmers. He said that how tribal people, they have loved forest, they have nurtured forest more than their lives. So this is a tribute to all those tribal peoples who are looking after, people who are looking after this tribal people's you can say love and their care, this tender loving care that they give to our forests. Fishermen, they know exactly how much is required. They have this education. This is something that is inherent in them, that they will not catch more than what is required from seas or from rivers. And same thing goes for our farmers as well. They look after our environment. They know that this environmental cycle is associated with, or is strongly linked with, their life cycle. Prime Minister also expressed happiness that the whole world has acknowledged this environmental sensitivity that we have. And he also talked about a very important line here. He said that climate and calamity are directly related to the culture, and if climate is not the focus of the culture, then calamity cannot be prevented. Very important statement. I think it's a very beautifully crafted and very important statement as far as your capacity building and your mains answer writing is concerned. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that the main reason why Prime Minister Modi has been selected for this award is because of an International Solar Alliance, as well as Mr. Modi's unprecedented pledge to eliminate all single-use plastic in India by 2022. Last item on our table today, it is about President of our country. Basically, this visiting dignitary Antonio Guterres called upon our President Shri Ramnath Kovind ji, and Ramnath Kovind ji said that no reform of United Nations will be complete without the reform of United Nations Security Council. We know that we have this P5, right, permanent 5 members, and these 5 members, right, they were strong post World War II, but today's situation is different. A country like India, that is representing 18% of world population, is not part of this P5. A country that has always, contributed a huge amount of foot soldiers and all sort of support for peacekeeping missions of United Nations around the world, is not here in this list of P5. So if we want to change, if we want to reform UN, then it is going to be incomplete if we are not reforming UNSC. That's everything in today's discussion. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you share this lecture with other students. God bless you all. Jai Hind.